Sir. Hey everybody, it's Justin McDonald. We're in Lehigh Lanes in Lehigh Acres, Florida. This is night one of the Southwest Florida Matchplay Summer Scratch League. Right. So this is a summer league. It's a match play. There's no teams. It's all singles. It's scratch. There's no handicap. It's on a sport shot. Bowling on the 2022 version of the Wayne Webb pattern. It's 38 feet long. It's a little bit of an asymmetrical pattern. It's biased to the right by a couple of boards. It's 31 and a half mils oil. I've been walking around a little bit in practice. There's a little bit of urethane going down the lane, but not how much you would think for a shortish pattern. So the way this league works for the night, it's just 4 games of match play, random blind draw match play. You're gonna bowl. Everybody's gonna bowl a different bowler on a different lane every game. But starting next week, game 1's going to be a position round game, and the next 3 games will all be just match. So this league is it's technically 12 weeks. The 13th week is like a roll-off to determine the champion, but it's 12 weeks. It's 4 games a night. They bowl a different bowler on a different pair of lanes every game, theoretically. On the same pair of lanes for a couple of games in a row or something for the position round thing. But it's a point for a win, obviously a half a point for a loss, and nothing for a tie. Guys have got about 2-3 minutes left to practice. Take a look around and see who's bowling who. Looks like Dave Covington's going to be bowling Daniel Gacera first game on 1 and 2. They went ahead and made Chucky Rucker and Brandon Rucker start this league off bowling against each other in the first game on 3 and 4. Robert Hilton and Wayne Tapola bowling each other in 3 and 4 to start. Oh, that's another good one on 5 and 6. Ron Richards and Joe's Gardado are going to be bowling each other on 5 and 6. Bobby Hammer's bowling this year. Dennis Beagle's bowling this year. Dennis Beagle's going to be starting on 9 and 10. Bobby Hamilton's going to be starting on 7 and 8. Tyler Altman's going to be 11 and 12 against Nick Larson. Will be starting against Ryan Williams, also on 11 and 12. The guys are going to bowl 4 weeks on this pattern, and then in week 5 they're going to change to this is a short pattern. In week 5 they're going to go to whatever's going to be the medium pattern. They haven't told us yet. And then again in week 9 they're going to change the pattern to whatever the long pattern is going to be. I think they're going to tell us those other 2 patterns next week, but we only know the short one this week. But then after week 12 for week 13, the top 16 in points will make it to a roll-off to determine the league champion. And then the bottom 20, if they want to, will be able to come in here and bowl for a little bit of side money for just for fun, really. The guys do get, no matter where they finish, they get, I believe that it was $2 a point per person. There was a motion on the floor to raise it to $3 a point per person because the league fees went up, but that may not actually work well for these guys, so they may decide not to do that. They're actually going to talk about that right now.
No Jacob Feather Brad will be people or postponing on Sunday. By the way, postpone Sunday 1:30. Also, the shots will be out Sunday 1:30 for practice.
All right, so we're underway. Dave Covington started off with a strike on 1 and 2 against Daniel Gacera. Daniel missed the head pin right, let the 6 count. Shots away for Brad Stewart. A very good shot. Looked like he was throwing a 3D offset. He's bowling against a kid named Jake Miller that I've never seen before. Two-handed bowler. He's a 2-8 on lane 4. Robert up on the approach on lane 3. Johnny Rack up on the approach on lane 5 and 6, 2-time TAT winner. His team is sitting in, I believe, first place for nationals, too. That was a nice little shot for a strike. He bowled with Matt McNeil in nationals team event, and they whacked them, and they're in first place. I believe. I don't think anybody's overtaken them yet. Ricky Nicholson about to shoot a. There's no pin on the deck, but he says 9 count on line 9. Nuna starting with a strike on lane 1 against Joe Nasso. What's up, Nuna? Pretty good, and you? Brandon Rucker up on the approach on 3 for the first shot, bowling against his dad to start this league off. Good looking ball, but left a weird 4-pin. That was a really good shot by Daniel Gacera on lane 1. Dave Covington approach on 2 to try and answer Daniel's strike from lane 1. Good looking ball. Got a little lazy down lane though. That's a lane hook like that one.
Justin, my ball stuck to my leg.
I know. They couldn't have on that shot. It looked really good. Oh, that's why you struck. All right, I got you. Chucky Rucker up on the approach on lane 4, trying to answer his son's little 4-pin spare. Ball's a little in. Oh, and he carries to Brooklyn. Can't believe you're going to do him like that. Brad Stewart getting up on the approach on 4. He's throwing that 3D offset. It's a good looking ball. He's got his polish, it looks like. Johnny Rack's about to get up on the approach on 6. It looks like the feeds are kind of a little backwards on our YouTube channel. It looks like the 5 through 8 camera is showing 1 through 4, and the 1 through 4 camera is showing 5 through 8. But I think 9 through 12 is right. It was a double for Johnny Rack. It was a good shot. Brad Stewart threw a double too. It was a very good shot also. Still on the purple hammer. On the approach on Nick Larson. Looks like he's throwing the purple hammer to start. Started with an 8 spare against Ryan Williams to a strike. He looks to also be throwing the purple hammer. That's purple hammer. It is a strike. So he starts with a double against Nick. Nick's your defending Southwest Pirates Invitational champion from in this building a couple of months ago. And start on 9 and 10. That ball just crossed over with Brooklyn, let the 5 in. Darren Best is throwing through a strike on lane 8. I'm not here tonight, so he'll be here on Sunday post bowl. Brad Stewart's balls have stuck to his leg for the 3rd time in a row. He started off with a 3-bagger on 3 and 4. Hey man, how you doing? You got some very sticky balls tonight.
I got it.
Yes, thank you, sir. Awesome. All right, they just gave me a roster that basically tells me who's bowling who for the first game. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the rundown of that. Dave Covington's bowling Daniel Gacera. Brad Stewart's bowling Jake Miller. John Rakowski's bowling Scott Whiteleather. Bobby Hamilton is bowling Carlos Delgado. Ricky Nicholson is bowling John Pfister. James Kreutz is bowling Donnie Schwartz. Donnie Schwartz is title sponsor of this league this year with Schwartz Roofing. Dustin Valentine is bowling Scott Chikoski. Robert Hilton is bowling Wayne Topolin. Ron Richards is bowling Joseph Gardado. Donnie Schwartz Sr. is bowling John Syverson. J.J. Feather, who's not here tonight, is bowling Davion Swinney. Tyler Altman is bowling Jordan Frazier. Nuna, Chuck Williams, bowling Joe Nasso. Brandon Rucker and Chucky Rucker are squaring off. Joe Barna and Josh McFalls, which I believe that Joe is not here tonight. No, he's here. Darren Best is bowling Ice Martinez, who is not here tonight. Dennis Beagle is bowling Brad Zielinski, who's also not here tonight. And Nick Larson is bowling Ryan Williams. And that was a big shot by John Syverson on lane 8. Gardado looking for a double on 5 and 6. Ball goes to the nose, leads to 3-6-10. Daniel Gacera's got himself a 3-bagger after 4 frames on 1 and 2. That's a tricky pair. Bowling against Dave Covington. He just threw the ball down lane 2, and the ball misses the head pin right. He's struggling a little bit on that pair. Let's see, Brandon Rucker yet to throw a strike, but he's kind of got an advantage here over his dad. He's gone spare, and he's got a 2-pin looking at us for his 3rd frame. Chucky started out with a double, but he's got a big split here in the 3rd frame to try and convert. Brandon got the 2-pin. Dave Covington almost converted that spare on lane 2, but missed the head pin a little bit. Bobby Hamilton throwing a purple hammer on 7 and 8. Had a double going into the 4th frame. Looked like a good shot, but he left a flat 10 pin. Chucky did not convert. Brad Stewart has opened up this game with the front 3. He's taking the approach on lane 4. Bowling against Jake Miller, who opened up this game with an open and then threw a double. But he just went. Brad just left a 6-pin. Jake missed the head pin right. Threw a 5 count. He's going to try and convert it here. Bobby ends up on the approach on lane 8 to shoot that 10 pin. There, but he converts it on 8. Jordan Frazier started this game out with a spare and then open, and then another strike before he just made the spare there on 11. Tyler Altman on the approach now trying to convert a 10 pin on 12. Again, Jordan. Approach on 11. Started this game out with a double before he dumped one in the gutter and then converted the spare on that. That ball looked good. All through it and almost left a 9 pin. Something came off the side. Nick Larson had finally thrown a strike. The approach Ryan. Guys are throwing purple hammers. Dennis Beagle's fixing to take the approach on lane 9, also purple. Before he went 9 spare and then struck out. Dennis's ball is wanting to hook a lot on 9 right now. That one hooked up through the face, and he's looking at a 2-4-7. Donnie Schwartz got a 3-bagger going on lane 12 now. Started out open spare, now he's got a 3-bagger. Daniel Gacera on 2. Started out with a spare, and he's got a 3-bagger going on. Just made it a 4-bagger. Late 10 pin. Brandon Rucker's leaving himself makeable spares. He hasn't been able to strike yet. Dustin Valentine getting up on the approach on lane 1. He's kept it clean so far. He's looking at a 1-2-4 to continue to keep it clean. Bowling against Scott Tchaikovsky. He's going to convert that. Got a little advantage over Scott. Brad Stewart back up on the approach on lane 3. Started with the front 3. 9 spare in the 4th. Throwing that pink 3D offset. He's very far left to start. Good looking ball. Yeah, that was a big shot. That was a good one. Let him hang, son. Robert Hilton getting up on the approach on 3. Started out spare strike, going into the 5th frame. Bowling against Wayne Topolin. Wayne started out spare strike, spare. So Robert's got a small advantage here. Johnny Rack's fixing to get up on the approach on lane 5. He started out with a double where he had an open, then a strike in the 4th frame. It was a big shot by Robert Hilton there. That was a good ball. Nick Larson just out what turned out to be a 3-bagger on 11. Ryan looked like he 2-8-10 and only was able to take off the 2 in the 8. It's a good shot by Johnny Rack. Flat. What's up, Bree? Wayne Topolin getting up on the approach on 4. I believe that's an reality in his hand. Is an altered reality. He got it inside a target and he leaves it. It's at that 310. Ron Richards is about to get up on the approach on lane 5. He's a very good bowler that I haven't really mentioned so far yet tonight, but he doesn't really have that good of a look right now. It doesn't look like he struck in the 1st frame, in spare, open. The 5th now, bowling against Joe's Gardato. He's pretty left like Brad is. And that was a good shot. Looked a lot like one of Brad's shots that he's thrown so far tonight, but he hasn't replicated that much tonight so far. Oh, that's funny. All right. Joe Barna's up on the approach on lane 5. He's looking at the 1-2-4 to keep it clean against Josh McFalls, and he does so. Josh just started out this strike and then a couple of opens in a row before another strike in the 4th frame. Lane 4 is the perfect example of what happens when you miss your target right on the fresh on this pattern. Josh is not enough ball speed to be throwing. John Syverson on lane 7. I know he just threw one through the face and left a split, but he's throwing a urethane ball and all that right, got to do on the fresh. What's up, Ricky? You know, Ryan Williams getting on the strike train on in the 5th. Larson had a 3-bagger going himself. And he takes the 4 and the 7 off and leaves the 8. Donnie Schwartz, part of our title swan. Approach on 12. Got a pretty good game going so far against James Recruits. Dennis Beagle just threw a big strike on 9, but I didn't see any of the ball motion. I just saw the ball going in the piece. All over this game. I was struggling a little bit. That was a good shot by Ricky, though. James left a 7-pin and converted it. Jordan Frazier getting up on the approach on 12 now. He's throwing a pitch black. Falling against Tyler Altman. Very struggling a lot right now. Tyler started out strike, open. Tough lead for Jordan. It's a 4-6-7. Opened the door a little bit for Tyler. Tyler shockingly is not throwing urethane. And that might be part of why he's struggling so bad. They actually left the same thing, 4-6-7. Jordan took the 4 and the 7 off of his. Probably what Tyler's going to do to his too, unless he gets some lucky kick here. Nope, he didn't get any of them. Yeah, Beagle's about to get up on the approach on. John 8's got a pretty good game. Starting with a spare. Another spare. Now he's got 3. Whoops. By Dennis Beagle on lane 10. Syverson's got a couple opens in a row, but he had a three-bagger at one point in this match on lane 7, bowling against Donnie Schwartz Sr. Who, I mean, he's trailing, but he's kind of got an advantage. He's working. Whoa, that was some interesting carry. John just whacks on it. Oh, look at the member carry by Johnny Rack. Some two-time carry right there. You saw that?
That was a different message.
Yeah. What is that? Sneak attack? Got a couple of big-ish games going. Daniel Gacera on 1 and 2 can strike out for, looks like 247 against Dave Covington. Brad Stewart, if he converts this, which he did, looked for a minute like he was going to chop it. He can shoot 235 against Jake Miller. Struggling a little bit this game. Right underneath Brad Stewart, fixing to get up on the approach on lane 4 right now. Robert Hilton started out spare, strike, spare, and has now got a 4-bagger going into the 8th frame. So he can strike out for, I believe that's going to be 270 against Wayne Topolin. Let's stick with Robert and see if he does strike here. He's left. Ball crops over. Actually, it never even made it to the right of the head pin, so he missed his target there. Left a 10 pin. So if he picks it up and strikes out, it's going to be 239, which is going to definitely beat Wayne. Wayne's struggling a little bit. Bobby Hamilton is throwing the ball really good, but he can't really carry very well tonight so far. That's really about the extent of the bigger games going. Dennis B. 10. He's bowling against Brad Zaleski, but Brad's not here. He's got a 3-bagger going into the 10th frame. Strike out for 248. Other than that, some small twos and high 190s. And so out, it's 174. So Bobby needs a pin to lock Carlos out. Josh McFalls just left a gnarly 8-pin on lane 6. Daniel Gacera just threw a big strike on lane 1 that I heard. I'm standing behind lane 7. I mean, it's not hard to hear something from lane 1 behind lane 7, especially in this bowling alley. But Gad gives him the first one. If he gets the next two, it's 247. That's going to be your Dennis 48. He did not get the second one. 6 count in the second ball. So if he picks it up, it's 237. Stewart got to get up on the approach on lane 3 for the 9th frame. Can strike out for 235. Brandon and Chucky Rucker both struggling, but the match is just about even. Small advantage to Chucky because he struck in the 8th. Brandon's up on the 8th right now to try and convert a 10 pin. So Daniel took 3 off of that 4 and shot 236. Dave Covington struggled a little bit, and I think shot 183. I think is what I saw. Scott Chakosky just threw one down lane 1, started to get it together here towards the end of the game. He's got an advantage over Dustin Valentin. He's probably going to win the match. Dustin can strike out for 187. Scott has 170 in the 9th and threw an 8 count in the 10th. So he needs to pick this up, I believe, to lock him out and then get some count. Three in the 10th. Robert Hilton, 610 in the 9th frame. So if he picks that up and strikes out, it's going to be 237. Scott did spare on lane 1. Dustin did not strike in the first ball in the 10th, so that match is over. Robert Hilton with the spare on lane 3. Jake Miller with a spare on lane 4, bowling against Brad Stewart, but pretty sure Brad's got that match well in hand. Dennis Beagle getting up on the approach on lane 10 for the 10th frame, carrying a 3-bagger in there. He can shoot 248. This is going to be a high game of the first game if he does. Still him. The lane. Ball crossed over the arrows at about 8. Wide a target, I think. 6 split, and that's not a pleasant sight. So if he picks this up and strike, it's going to be 224. Had a 3-bagger going into the 7th ball. Missed headpin right. Bobby Hamilton crossed over on the fill ball on 7 for 194 to beat Carlos Delgado's 162. Dennis almost picked that up. Sorry, man. Dennis almost picked that up. So Dennis Beagle shot 212 against Brad Zielinski, who's not here. Donnie Schwartz ended up shooting 218. That's going to be a win against James Cruz. Jordan Frazier is going to get a win against Tyler Altman. He struck the first ball in the 10th frame. Tyler can't. Ooh, Jordan Frazier just rolled a 2-pin for a double in the 10th. Be 173. Tyler Altman can strike out for 136, I believe. Occasionally these patterns do that. Nuna got him a win with a 190. Brad Stewart just threw a strike in the first ball in the 10th. If he strikes out, it's 235. And that's probably going to be your high game. No, Daniel shot 236. So Daniel got the high game in the first game out of everybody. Shot 236. Brad can shoot 235. Oh, wait a minute. Robert Hilton can shoot 237. If he gets all three in the 10th. Coming up here in a minute after Brad.
Hi.
Brad split on the second ball in the 10th frame. Shot 219, still a win. Robert Hilton can get three in the 10th. Oh, to have a first game by one pin. That was a little bit lucky. And everybody's going to change lanes here. That's what we do in this league. After every game, everybody changes lanes. You'll see starting next week, you'll see a guy or two that stays in the same pair of lanes for 2 games in a row. But Chucky Rucker had a double going into the 10th frame there. Do a good shot at 10. Robert Hilton got that first one in the 10th, so if he gets this one in the next one, he's got the high game for the first game. Got that one. Oh, Chucky whiffed that 10 pin to open the door for his son. Brandon can strike out and shoot 170. I think that left Chucky with a 157. Sorry, 168. So Brandon can get up there and strike out and beat him by 2. And Robert did get the last one for the 237. So that's going to be your high game for the first game of the whole league. Is a 237 by Robert Hilton. In a win over Wayne Topolin, who shot 198, and a lot of other times that'd be a win, but not tonight. John Rakowski up on the approach. Got the first one in the 10th on lane 6. He can get these last 2 for 200 even. Bowling against Scott Whiteleather. Scott's looking at a 4.67 spare, so the chances of this being converted are super high. That's a 138 for Scott. John, like I said, if he gets this last one, it's 200 even. Yep, that one plowed right through him. So that's 200 even for John Rakowski. And a win over Scott Whiteleather. Joe's Gardado's getting up on the approach on 5. He can strike out for, I believe it's going to be 204 against Ron Richards, who has really struggled in this game and can only strike out for, I believe it's going to be 165 if he gets all 3 in the 10th. He's moved way right. He was way left. Now he's way right. Throwing a purple hammer. And that was a good ball, and strikes plopped right to the pocket. Joe's got left with what looked like Obsession Tour Pearl. It was a gold ball. Brandon Rucker did not get the first one in the 10th. He went 6 spare, and then he finally struck in the fill ball for a 156 to lose to his old man to start this league off by 12 pins. As soon as 5 and 6 finishes, everybody's names will move around, and I'll be able to tell you who's bowling where, but I don't have a clue right now. I know Brandon Rucker is going to be bowling on 1 and 2 because he's moved his stuff over there. I know Tyler Altman's going to be on 1 and 2 because he's moved his stuff over there. Looks like Carlos Delgado is going to be on 1 and 2. Looks like John Pfister is going to be on 3 and 4. Johnny Rack just put his stuff on 3 and 4. Wayne Topolin maybe staying on 3 and 4. It's kind of unusual first night. Usually that doesn't happen unless he just hasn't got his stuff yet and moved. Rickner got all 3 in the 10th. Now the urethane ball and jumped to the opposite part of the lane. But it's not going to be enough. 165 against Joe's Guardado shot 193, so it's a 28 pin loss or win, depending on how you look at it, I guess. In the bottom match on this pair, the last match to finish the first game is going to be Josh McFall against Joe Barna, and looks like Josh is probably going to end up winning this match. Struck the first ball in the 10th. Gives him 143 in the 9th, so he can punch out for 173. Joe had an open in the 9th, leaving him at a 153, and then he just missed the head pin right first ball. 6 counted. And that ball is not going to get the spare. So that's going to be a 160 for Joe Barna. Josh McFalls really only needs like an 8 win, I think. And that's a strike, so that's a win. Still got one more ball to throw, but that's a W. Looks like Robert Hilton's going to be 9 and 10. 8. Looks like Dave Covington is going to be on 5 and 6. Looks like Wayne might be on 5 and 6. Let's see. Nine and 10, you got Nick Larson and Brad Stewart facing off. A leadoff match on that pair. That's going to be a good match. The next pair over, 11 and 12, you got Dennis Beagle and Joe's Guardado starting off on that lane. That pair of lanes, that's going to be a good match. Jordan Frazier and Wayne Topolin getting it on 5 and 6. Jordan Frazier gets one to crumble with all that ball speed he's got. John Pfister and Joe Nasso on 3 and 4 starting off. Carlos Delgado supposed to bowl Ice Martinez, but Ice Martinez not here.
You almost ready to start bowling again?
I'm supposed to go in for
And the 6 pin on. It wiped all the spares out.
So I believe that Tyler Altman, who just threw a ball down lane 2, is supposed to bowl against Brad Zielinski, but Brad's not here. So nope, sorry, Brandon Rucker. Tyler Altman's bowling against Brandon Rucker. Tyler started with a spare on lane 2. Brandon's getting up on lane 1 right now. Good looking ball, just a little light. Ron Rickner and Nuna are bowling against each other on 7 and 8. Dave Covington and Chucky Rucker bowling against each other on 5 and 6. Dave Covington starting to match out. Chucky will be up in a second. Donnie Schwartz Sr. getting on the approach on 6. Spare for Ron Richards to start on lane 8. Bowling against Nuna, Chuck Williams. Daniel Gacera fixing to throw his second frame on lane 7. Whoa. That was gnarly. Ryan Williams bowling on that lane also. He's bowling against Brad Zielinski, who's not here tonight. 2 blinds on that pair. 2 blinds on that pair. The other blind, there's 3 of them in here tonight, is on 1 and 2. Is Ice Martinez. Chucky Rucker started off with a big strike on 5 and 6. Nick Larson's struggling a little bit over there on 9 and 10. On his pattern so far, really, but 9 and 10. Started with a 9 spare in this game, and then ball just went through the face a little bit. He's looking at a 2.47. Josh McFalls, I believe, is bowling against Scott Chakosky on 3 and 4. He's about to take the approach for the first time in this game. Davion Swinney left himself a 7-pin in the first frame. Picked it up. Brad Stewart started this game with a strike in the first frame on 9, and he's fixing to take the approach on 9 in the second frame. Gotten away from the 3D offset. Oh, that was a very good shot. It didn't strike.
Shot. It's fun. Please.
Can I just get a cup of ice from you real quick? Perfect. Hamilton's on 9 and 10, bowling against Robert Hilton. That's a big match there. Bobby's strike just left I believe that was the 6-9. Is the 6-9? Started out the game, opens in a row. Daniel Gacera fixing to get up on the approach on lane 7. Started out this match open, spare, strike. I believe that's a fake. I don't know when he started throwing stuff, but he was a Brunswick guy for a minute.
Howdy, howdy.
Up on lane 8, Ron Richards. I believe that was an Obsession Tour Pearl. Ron Richards in the urethane ball still. The ball's not reacting the way it was on 5 and 6 a minute ago to finish. Nick Larson up on the approach on 9, third frame. Still his bowling against Brad Stewart, who started the game strike. Nick's ball just crossed over and it struck, but he's actually kind of this Dennis B. Robert Hill the approach on 9. They're starting with 2 straight opens. Got on the strike train there in the third frame against Bobby Hamilton. Strike spare. These guys on 7 and 8 are going to move right along. It looked like Daniel Gacera ball changed. I believe that was Hustle Camo there on lane 8. And it struck, but he didn't really like the motion out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wayne Topolin. I thought that ball was really going to strike Wayne. The ball was looking good. He was carrying a double going into the 4th frame after after a spare in the 1st frame. But that ball just didn't really react, and it left him, I believe that is a 2-4-5. He's bowling against Jordan Frazier. There isn't much of an advantage for anybody in that match, honestly. Wayne's going to have the score advantage, but Jordan's on a strike in the fourth, where Wayne's going to be on a spare at best. He'd convert the spare. Ryan Williams has just gotten out of the urethane ball. Bounced and went a little high. See what's going on down here on 1 and 2. Carlos Delgado started this match off pretty well. Double and then 2 spares in a row. Bowling against Ice Martinez, who's not here tonight. Jake Miller there on lane 2 just do a Brooklyn strike. Started out strike, spare, double. That was a good looking ball by Carlos. It just didn't strike. Tyler Hoffman getting up on the approach on lane 2. Struggles are continuing a little bit here. Just went 9 spare, 9 miss, and then a strike, and then another 9 spare. It looks like he's throwing that new sneak attack from Radical. That was a good looking shot. He's bowling against Brandon Rucker, who has not thrown a strike yet in this game, but is clean still. 3 and 4. That was John Fisher that just came 3, converting that spare. Davion Swinney looking at a 4-6-7, bowling against John Rakowski, who's about to take the approach here in a second. Started out this game with the front 2. Davion takes the 4-7 off, which is what most people do with that. Brandon Rucker, he's going to leave. He's going to make way for John on 3. John Rakowski on the approach on 3, trying to turn the first 2 into the first 3. Still throwing that sneak attack. A little out of target, and he's at, I believe that's a 2-4-10. Rucker cannot get on the strike train yet. I think he's just creating too much angle through the front part of the lane and not getting around it enough to make it turn on the back end. Oh, Scott Chakosky could have got his first strike of the game for the same price. That was a good looking shot, man. Ron Richards is still struggling over there on 7 and 8. I think he found a good look with the urethane ball on 5 and 6, and I think it's just not translating over to 7 and 8. Ryan Williams got out of the purple hammer and is now throwing a pitch black. I don't know. Whatever. It struck. The purple hammer wasn't. So. Nick Larson approach on 9. Might have. Oh, we got a gutter ball on lane 3. Josh McFalls. It happens, folks, especially on short patterns. You miss your target right, and there's not much out there to keep it from going in the gutter, really. Dave Covington's having a pretty solid game after struggling in the first game on 1 and 2. Started this game out with a double and then a spare and a strike and another spare. Robert Hilton's getting it together here on 9 and 10. Just double after that. Ball was a little high. It could strike. Nope. Almost did. Second game, but he's got it. Had a 2-8. Took the. Jake Miller's having a pretty good game after struggling the first game. Josh McFall converted that gutter ball in the third frame. Dave Covington up on the approach on 6. Got a good game going. He's pretty far left. He's been throwing a Paragon since we started. Polished. And it went up high. Daniel Gacera had. Everything's on tape. I just didn't say nothing about it. Unfortunately, I don't have replay to go back and look at it. I didn't see it.
I spelled the 1, 2, 4, 7, 8.
Oh, jeez. That was Nuna. He said he just kind of spilled the 1, 2, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. Daniel had a game, the first game with a 236 down there on 1 and 2, and he's going to struggle to shoot 200 in this game. Oh, that was weird. So he's probably not going to convert that. Say he gets 9. It's going to give him 123 in the 8th. He strikes out. It's 1 feeder who's not here. Feather, I'm not sure. I think it's Feather actually. Oh, and he did convert it. So he converts that. Now he can shoot. I believe it's going to be. No. 34. Yeah, 194. You shoot 194. Got 7. Still trying to play same ball. Yeah, that one a little bit off his hand, a little bit high. So a strike there by Newton, giving himself a 3-bagger going into the frame. In the first frame, he had a bunch of spares after that. And they started striking in the 6th frame. Joe Nasso Jr. on lane 4 almost just had a very nice strike. Went up just a little bit high and left a 9-pin. Jordan Frazier just picked off a 6-pin off a 6-10. Bowling against Wayne Topolin on 5 and 6. It's going to give Wayne a big advantage, really. Well, that's not a 6-pin. What the hell is that? Huh. Bobby Hamilton just came by me with a urethane ball. It looks just like a purple hammer, but it is not one. I think it's a swag ball. Brandon Rucker on lane 2, fixing to try and pick up what looks like a 1-5. Still struggling. Don't strike yet in this game. He's probably going to lose this match, unfortunately, to Tyler Altman, but he's not throwing it bad. He just can't strike. Covington on 5 right now. Kind of locked into a little bit of a battle with Chucky Rucker. That ball got out there and did not hook. Chucky's clean through 7. Strike, spare, double, and then 3 straight spares. Larson's still struggling over here on 9 and 10. Falling against Brad Stewart, who just let one go down 9 and 10. And you knew it was right at target off his hand and never came back to the head pin. I think it's safe to say that this end of the bowling alley is playing a lot different than the other end of the bowling alley. Dennis Beagle on 11 and 12. I haven't really mentioned him the entire game, but he's having his way with 11 and 12 and Joe's Guardado. He's on a 280 pace. Strike, spare, 5-bagger going into the 8th frame. Joe ball bad. He's clean through 7. 2 spares. Spare in the 7th frame. But that's not going to hold up against 280 pace. Fair Nuna. Match on that lane that actually has both. Nunes, I think, he locked it up. Bowling against Ron Richards. Ron can strike out for. And yeah, Nunes already got him 73. Now Daniel's really having big struggles with his look. I don't know why you're throwing that. Ron Richards getting up in the 10th frame. Like I said, he can only shoot about 169 if he throws the last 3. Nunes got 173 if he goes in the gutter twice, so that one's over. But Ron should be trying to find something here, but Dave Covington, that ball just labored out there and let the 5 count. Let's see, I'm gonna look around. Some of the pairs are already starting to finish, which isn't smart because lane 3 and 4 is only in the 5th frame. But Jake Miller on 1 and 2 can strike out for, it looks like, 225. His match, John Syverson, can strike out for 220. 3 and 4 ain't far enough along for me to really tell you if anybody's shooting big, but that's the pair that John Rakowski's on. He's fixing to get up on the approach on 4 right now. Started out the game with a double and an open before a spare, and I believe he struck again in the 5th. Yeah, he did. Needed the graphic to clear so I could see it. Bowling against Davion Swing. Just threw the ball down lane 3. Davion's throwing altered reality. That was a strike. It was a little high. Good shot. He run left. Going to be right at target. Yep. I've never made it back to the head pin. So he's got a clean game going. If he picks this spare up and strikes out, it's going to be 30. And honestly, that's like the highest game I see out there other than Dennis Beagle's 280 pace that he's still on. He did make the 5-bagger into a 6-bagger in the 8th frame. Johnny Rack just got a double. Wayne Topolin is probably going to end up beating Jordan Frazier. He's got a, what is that? It's like a 6'9" spare staring at him. Chucky Rucker did make the spare on lane 5. Wayne Topolin converts the 6'9" spare. So if he strikes out against Jordan, Jordan can strike 9th and 10th. 194. So they both strike out. Wayne wins by 4. Daniel shot 160. Ron Richards shot 145. The only match on this pair of lanes on 7 is Ron Richards and Chuck because the other two guys are not here. Nuna got the first one in the 10th and can strike out, get the last 213. Dennis Beagle got 9th on 11-12, so he's now got 280. That's gonna be a lefty to watch for. There ain't a whole lot of lefties in this league, and if he gets lined in, there ain't nobody over there to mess with him. But he knows how to break a bear down for himself. Not that they're on the same pair the entire time, but he knows what he's doing. Robert Hilton, who had the first game, or the high game of the first game, is struggling just about as bad as Daniel Gacera did here in the second game. He's another guy that crossed the entire house. He went from 3 and 4 to 9 and 10. Daniel went from 1 and 2 to 7 and 8. Nuna is going to throw the last one down there right now. Oh, no, that's not a good shot. No, it's still carried. 213 for Nuna. Yeah, John Syverson down there shot 207 on 1 and 2. And his match has a 225 out there, potentially still. Nick Larson about to get up on the approach on 9 and 10. Still looks like he's throwing back to. right now. Beagle in a minute, carrying that 280 pace into the 10th frame. Bowling against Guardado, who had it clean through 7, opened in the 8th. Brad's back into the 3D. That's a good looking ball. Yeah. So Dennis got the first one. Needs the last 2 for 280. That's a purple hammer with no thumb hole.
Yeah, that guy's stupid good.
Yeah, right? Purple hammer, no thumb hole. Brad Stewart got that 2-8 in the 9th frame. He's going to probably end up losing this match to Nick Larson unless Nick opens in the 10th frame. Right off his hand, that ball was right at the target. That's a 2-8. So you can pick this up for 268, which is obviously a game. Auto just opened 182. They do run an eliminator in here. I don't know how many guys were in it, but the first game cut was 170. I think he's got 2 with thumb and without a thumb. 1 with the thumb. That was the one with the thumb, just to see 2 of those balls, one with the thumb hole and one without a thumb hole. Obviously, the one with the thumb hole, he has to put his thumb in it when he throws it. Dustin right underneath Joe's Guardado on 11 and 12. To a 9 count in the first shot on the 10th frame on 11, but had a 5-bagger going into the 10th frame. Bowling against Scott Whiteleather. Scott threw a 9 count in the first shot in the 10th frame. So if Scott picks his up and strikes, it's 211. Dustin picks his up and strikes, it's 213. So that's a tight match on 11 and 12. I didn't even realize this till right now, but the match is ending. But on 5 and 6, Donnie and Donnie Schwartz, senior and junior, bowling against each other. Both of them struggling. Donnie just whipped 6 to the right for 136. Is going to give Dad. Dad can strike here, and he throws a count for 156. Let's see. 9 and 10 in the frame. Nick Larson did a gutter ball and shot in the 10th frame. After having it going into the 10th frame. Brad Stewart struck the first one and peaking the last 189. This up and strikes. It's going to be tight. So explain why it's throwing it right down the ball's hitting the lane one board. The fill ball by 2 pins because Dustin only threw a 6 count in the fill ball. Dustin could have struck for 213 to lock him out with a 6 count. Scott struck and won by 2. Brad Stewart just got the second one in the 10th. So Nick needs a 9 count to win, 8 to force a tie, 9 to lock him out. It looks like Brad throwing the 3 set very far. Right-handed bowler. Good looking ball on a little high. So 9 count is going to give him 188. So Nick only needs a 7 to force a tie and an 8 to win. I'm going to stick around this pair and watch Bobby Hammer Hilton finish up, and then we're going to go down to 3 and 4. The ball's going right down the 1 board. So that's a 9 count that's going to win by 2, 190 to 188 for Nick. Bobby Hamilton has a strike in the 9th frame, going into the 10th frame right now. Okay. 7. It's not like that. It's very far right of target. Robert Hilton can strike out for 160. Leaving that 6 count. If he picks it up and strikes, it's going to be 157. So Robert needs the first 2 for a chance. First ball. Oh, and it didn't hook. Wow. Honestly. He did not convert. Took 3 out of the 4 off. Gives him $145. Robert can pick this up and strike for 6. He really needs to pick this up. Honestly, pick this up and win. Oh, tie 1. All right, go down to 3 and 4. Now still got one more match. Joe Barna and James Cruz. Joe Barna just threw the first one in the 10th to give him a double. James Cruz is working on a 9 spare. James is likely going to win this match. That's not a good ball, though. So hold your horses on that thought. Joe Nasso and John Pfister on 3 and 4. Joe Nasso's trying to pick up a 10 pin to have a chance to strike in the fill for 177. Joe Barn on 9 and 10. Let the 6 count in the second ball on the 10th frame. He can pick it up for 181. James Cruz shooting at the what looks like the 1-9 right now. It might have been the 2-5. Picked it up, so he's going to win that one. Joe Nasso, 9 count in the fill ball for 176. John Pfister just needs 1 pin to win. And that's a good-looking shot for a 9 count. And that's going to be a 185 win for John Pfister on 3 and 4. Davion Swinney getting up on the approach on 3, bowling against John Rakowski, not bowling well this game. Davion's not. John's doing what John does. He's fixing to shoot 225 on a tough pattern.
I'm telling you.
Davion went through the nose there and left, I believe that's a 3 pin. John Rakowski through the nose a little bit, almost had a 4-10 in front of him. 4 pin fell over, leaves a 10 pin. James Cruz did win by 4. So Davion got a 9 count in the fill balls and shoot 146. Johnny Rack left, I believe that was a 10 pin. That's right. Left 10 pin, picked it up. I think that was an off target shot there for a 7 count in the fill ball for a 211 to win. And then the last match to finish up the second game is going to be Josh McFalls and Scott Chakosky. Scott's got a strike in the 9th frame, can strike out for 201. Gets the first one in the 10th frame. Josh McFalls has a spare in the 9th frame. He can strike out for 191. Scott 8 counted the second ball in the 10th. I believe that is a 1-3. I think. So if he picks that up at 189, which had opened the door a little bit for Josh McFalls at the time that it happened, but he just left himself 3-6. Needed to strike there for a chance to win, so he can only pick it up for 181. It's going to be a win for Scott Chakosky, 189 to more than likely 181. And that's going to do it for the second game. We've got 2 more games. Guys are starting to get reset. Looks like Bobby Hammerson's going to be 2. Looks like Jordan Frazier's going to be on 1 and 2. Looks like Robert Hilton's going to be back 3 and 4. That's where he started the night at in the first game. It looks like Tyler Altman's going to be on 7 and 8. Looks like Nick Larson's going to be probably on 7 and 8, I think. Looks like Daniel Gacera is going to be on 9 and 10. Looks like Joe's Gardado might be on 9 and 10. He's over there bullshitting with some guys. Looks like Ron Richards is going to be on 11 and 12. Looks like Brad Stewart is moving his stuff over to 11 and 12 right now. I'll really be able to tell you here in a minute when for the third game.
It would be right now. It's probably Daniel Darren.
All right. 1 and 2, you're going to be starting off with Scott Whiteleather and Jordan Frazier. I believe all 3 blinds are going to be on that pair for this game. I believe that's Brad Zielinski. I believe that's JJ Feather and Ice Martinez are all supposed to be on that pair. Let's see. 3 and 4, you're going to have James Kreutz and Dennis Beagle starting off. 5 and 6, you got Dave Covington and Joe Barna starting. 7 and 8, Tyler Altman's on the approach right now on 7 against Dustin Valentine. 9 and 10. Joe's Gardado's on the approach on 9 right now against Donnie Swartz Jr. And 11 and 12, you're going to have Brad Stewart starting off against John Finster. Austin Valentine, I believe, is throwing a fade 2. C3. I'm pretty sure that that's still a sneak attack by Tyler Altman. Frazier still throwing the pitch black, and that was a crunching strike on lane 2. Let's see, who do we got and where? Nick Larson getting up on 5 and 6, getting up on the approach on 5 right now. I believe he's still throwing the urethane ball up the twig. He's going to be bowling against Ricky Nicholson. Not really up the twig on that one. That ball hit the lane at about the 3. For those that don't know, the twig is the 1 board. Chucky Rucker on 3 and 4. Going to be bowling against, I believe, Josh McFalls. Still throwing on Evo Pearl. The ball's not going to get to where he wants it to. Bobby Hamilton just threw one in the gutter to start off the game on lane 2, bowling against a blind JJ Feather. Yeah, 3 blinds are on that pair on this game. So that pair is going to finish pretty quick. Ryan Williams is on 7 and 8 against Darren Best. They both started out with strikes. Nuna is on 7 and 8 again. He was just on that pair. He's bowling against John Syverson. Johnny Rack just threw one down lane 6, bowling against Wayne Topolin. Weak 10 pin. But Jake Miller starting off on lane. Both of those guys throwing Zen balls. Ron Richards on 12, bowling towards senior. Daniel 11 and 12 against Carlos Delgado. Daniel's already started the match with a strike. Carlos is getting up there on 11 right now. Tyler Altman has struggled for the most part of the entire night. Started this game out with an open on lane 7 and 8. He's fixing to take the approach on 8 for his second frame. Dustin Valentine started with a strike. That ball almost struck 2, but left a 2-8. Joe. Nice. All right, big shocker here. We've got standings through 2 games. Both leading the league. There's a handful of 7 guys. So the determining factor of who's first through 7th is going to be the average so far. And giant shocker is that Dennis Beagle's averaging 240. So he's averaging 240. He plays 214 or something like that, at least. Okay. Well, is 2-0 in 4th place, averaging 190. Scott Chakotky is 2-0, he's averaging 183. Ricky Nicholson rounds out your 2-0 players, averaging 163. Robert Hilton and Bobby Hamilton tied in the second game. They're both, they're basically both tied at in 8th place with 1 points. Bobby's got the higher average with Robert's got the higher average with 191 and 169. And then round 9, 1-1. I don't know. Yeah, I did mention Chucky. Chucky's back on 3 and 4, which is where he started the night out at. Ricky Nicholson's over on 5 and 6. Started this game bowling against Nick Larson. Started the game with a strike, and then just had 9 spare with a 6-pin, I believe, that he left. We're through. Everybody's through 2 frames. There's 1 pair of lanes. No, I'm sorry. Everybody's just through 2 frames. I mean, 2 to the 3rd frame. But the only person with more than 1 strike is Brad Stewart. Or I'm sorry, that's Brandon Novak. Brandon Rucker. Brandon Rucker on 9 and 10 has the first 2. Jordan Frazier on 1 and 2 started out with a strike and 2 spares, bowling against Scott Whiteleather. Left a makeable spare for the 4th frame. Scott has started out the game struggling a little bit. Open, strike, open. Davion Swinney bowling against Robert Hilton on 3 and 4. Davion started with a spare and now just struck in the 2nd frame. Robert, this is back on the pair that Robert started on. He threw a halfway decent game and shot 237. He started this game out with a strike, so that doesn't really shock me considering he shot so well in the first game on this pair. Dave Covington on his, I believe he's been on this game. This is the 2nd game in a row he's on this pair. He bowled a pretty good game last game. Seems to be struggling a little bit this game. On the approach on 11, Brad Stewart started out this game. John Pfister, who's 2 spares in his front. That was a good shot by Brad. So now he's got a double. Slight advantage over John Pfister. Game front 2 before he just left. I believe that was 4-6. No, sorry, that was the 3. They took 1 off of it. So there's 1 more perfect game bid left for this game, and it's on John Syverson. That was tough. Richards down on 11 and 12, bowling against Donnie Schwartz Sr. A big strike in the frame. Tyler Altman bowling Dustin Valentine. Converts that. I believe that was a 210.
My girl's coming. I gotta introduce them. Count the door. Okay.
Standing here behind 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for a minute. Bobby Haverton seems to be struggling a little bit. Started out this game gutter spare, 9 spare, 9, and then just whiffed it. I didn't see what it was. Jordan Frazier just threw his pitch black down lane 2. I believe that was a 9 pin that he was shooting at. Got a clean game going so far. Striking 4 straight spares.
Get it right.
Chucky Rucker looks like his ball changed out of that Quantum Evo Pearl. Threw a good shot. It went in there and hit the pocket, but flat 10. Bowling against Josh McFalls. Josh started this game out with a strike in this open. A slow rolling messenger for Josh there in the 3rd frame. I can't pick him up, so I got to get him on the first. Right. Bobby strikes there in the 5th frame on lane 2. Robert Hilton that just threw a ball down lane 3, and that is a ball change. That was a youth C3 that he's got polished up after switching away from an Obsession tour. Is that a C3 with some polish on it? What's that? Yeah. Dennis Beagle getting up on the approach on lane 3 right now after that 266. The second game, he started out this game strike over spare. Still throwing one of the purple hammers. That one didn't get back to the pocket. I think that was the 2-finger purple hammer. Dennis is bowling James Kreutz in this game. Nicholson on 5 and 6 started this game out clean with a pin to the right. He's looking at a 1-2-4. The 10 pin on 7, please. I didn't see what happened to Tyler Altman there, but I think he just got screwed on lane 7. Scored it as a strike, but they're asking me to have him set up the 10 pin back up. Brad Stewart's got it going on down there after in the first frame. 4-5. Brandon Rucker getting up on the approach on lane 10. Started out this game with a double before he had an open and a spare. Bowling against Scott Chikoski. Scott's struggling pretty good in this game. Started out with a strike and then he had 2 straight opens for a spare, but he just missed. He's a left-handed bowler. He just missed the head pin left, and he's looking at a 5 count. Gave that one a run, though. Brian Williams on 7 and 8 started this game with a strike and a spare and then a double. Just turned that double into a 3-bagger. I did not see the ball. Probably still throwing that pitch black. Ron Richards up on the approach on lane 12. Started this game out with an open and a spare, but he's on the strike train with a double going into the 5th frame. Our only 300 bid through 3 frames in this game was John Syverson, but he opened in the 4th frame. Ron Richards turned his double into a 3-bagger. Now, excuse me. Yes, the 4-7.
Are you going to sleep with John Thomas?
Guys in 1 and 2 are moving right along, but you need to slow it down a little bit. They're already getting into the 9th frame, and everybody else is in like the 4th and 5th frame. Dennis Beagle's having some struggles here with 3 and 4. Jordan Frazier just got away with one against Scott Chikoski there. He threw that one to the left and it struck. He's got a clean game going through 9. Probably going to win this match. That's a good shot by Scott there, though. Ooh, Dennis Beagle's really struggling in this game. Chucky Rucker's about to get up on the approach on lane 4. He's got a clean game going through 4 frames so far. 1 strike in the 2nd frame. Really far left. Don't know what ball that is, but it's a ball change from something he was throwing not that long ago. Might just be the raw hammer, the black one. Ooh. Ooh. That's not what you can do against Robert Hilton and get away with it. Okay. Ryan Williams with a spare in the 6 frame on lane 7. Keep a clean game going. Yep, that's what Robert will do to you if you open the door for him. Robert, 7 pin. Jesus. Dennis's struggles are going to continue on lane 3 and 4. One and 2, Jordan Frazier has already wrapped up his match, shot 182. He's beat Scott Whiteleather, but Scott's not done yet. Scott can throw a striker in the fill ball for 153. And the only other active bowler on that lane is Bobby Hamilton. He's supposed to be bowling JJ Feeler, is not here. And there's 2 other guys that are also not here tonight on that pair. Bobby can pick this up and strike for, looks like, I believe, 203. And that doesn't look good. Nope. Not a happy camper right now, that guy.
Lane 7's not picking up the 9 pin.
Not picking up the 9 pin at all? Set it this time around. Let's see what happens.
Is he looking at it, or is he going to throw a shot?
No, he's going to throw a shot right now. He's good right now. Yeah. I have an issue with the rack on lane 7, and we're having a little bit of an issue with some things on lane 3, too. Wow. Daniel Gacera has a strike in the 7th. He's up in the 8th frame right now. He's got a up and down game going. That was a big strike there. Oh my God. Oh my God. You set the 10 pin on lane 7, please. Sorry about that, folks. I just dropped my microphone. We got you. Chuggy Rucker up on the approach on 3 right now in the 6th frame after an open. That ball is not going to get where he wants it. Nope. You see the look on his face. He knows it. Even Johnny Rack is struggling in this game. This game's transitioning weird. Ryan Williams got a halfway decent game going on 7 and 8. Strike spare, back spare. Brad Stewart had the 290 pace going and went 8 spare in the 6th frame, and then he struck again in the 7th frame, but he just opened in the 8th frame. So he can strike out for 2. And got the 9th one. Ryan Williams 4-pinned. Yeah, I mean, there's really no big game. Brad's got his game going. The potential 234. Daniel Gacera can punch out, which would be the last 6 for 222, I believe that would be. Ron Rich. $246. That'd be the biggest game right there to do that. Oh, Robert Hilton down there on 3 and 4 got 280 pace going. I had overlooked that.
I think we know what the roll-off shot's going to be.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
The
short
one.
patterns usually fuck everybody up.
I'm currently whacking him.
Well, he says he's currently whacking him, so 7-8, Ryan Williams.
Oh, it's $1.75.
Dun dun dun.
Sorry, I know $1.
Oh, he's tricked his system. Getting up on the approach, lane 3, Robert Hilton, 280 pace. Strike, spare, 4-bagger going into the 7th frame. And that makes it a 5-bagger. Oh, him over there just went 7 gutter.
I retract my statement.
Strike. 30. I believe. Mister, however, got the first 2 in the 10th and can get this one. That ball went in the gutter. One. So that's going to be. I know, your ball's really stuck to your leg on that one. Daniel just. So on like 2 in the 10th, can get this one for 205. He's already won the match for sure. Gets Schwartz Jr. Done, Bo. Lane 4. Johnny Rack struggling bad on 6 for this 3rd game. Ooh, a little bit right of target for Robert, and he leaves it 2-8-10. Oh, whacking him over there went gutter spare in the 9th frame. So Robert takes a 2-10, which is what most people do. So he can strike out for 245. Ron Richards got the one in the 9th and the first one in the 10th and just left a 7-pin in the second shot, and so he can spare that for 235. So 235 is going to be your leader in the clubhouse, at least for a minute. 234 is going to be your leader in the clubhouse, at least for a minute, because he missed that 7-pin. Until Robert gets up here in the 9th and 10th frames. Lanes 9 and 10. Donnie Schwartz Jr. lost to Joe's Gardado 205 to 185. And Brandon Rucker beat Scott Chakosky 175 to 118. Jake Miller just threw the second ball in the 10th down there, and at 9 counted. I believe that's a 2-pin that he left, so he could pick that up for 189 against Joe Nasso, who's got a spare in the first part of the 10th frame, can strike in the fill ball for 158. And he leaves a 6 count, so it's going to be 154. So Jake has already won that one. Dustin Volantine had a double going into the 10th frame there and just left a 2-4-8-10. That's not going to be easy. Tyler Altman had an open in the 9th frame going in. He had 137. He struck on the first ball in the 10th, so he's probably going to win this match. Especially if he gets another strike here. Yep. So he's going to win this match for sure. Strike out for 160. But yeah, Tyler's won this one. That was a tomahawk messenger there. Oh, can't find the broadside of a barn now. Although he did convert that, so he can throw a strike in the fill ball for 198. It's definitely going to be a win against Darren Best, but Dennis Beagle really can't figure out what's going on there on 3 and 4. He's probably going, please get me the hell off there. Dave Covington shot 165 against Joe Ball here for 180, and he gets it. And he can strike for 158. James Kreutz has a 3-bagger going into the that's that one went through the face. So it's a strike for 171. Dennis shot 155. James, I believe, needs to pick this up to win. I think if he chops this or doesn't get anything, that he ends up losing by 1 or 2. Oh my God. Oh, he won by 9. Dave Covington lost to Joe Barna 180-165. Ricky Nicholson is up on the approach on 5 now to try and pick up a split. That's not going to be very easy. Nick Larson picked up a spare in the 10th. That's Ricky Nicholson's match. And if he strikes, it's going to be 174. Ricky Nicholson did not pick that spare up as 151. So Nick won that game. Ryan Williams did strike in the fill ball for 198. Against Darren Bess's 135. John Syverson shot 175. Against Chuck Williams. Chuck Williams can strike in the fill ball for 167, so that's going to be a win for John Syverson. Nick Larson threw something out there to try and see what was going to happen, and it didn't do what he thought it was going to do. Johnny Rack is struggling bad in this game. So your league leader after 2 games just went down. He was averaging 239, shot 155. Chucky Rucker is going to finish this game 48. A win against Josh McFalls 138. 137. All right, last 2 matches going are John. And it looks like Wayne's going to beat John. So your top 2 seeds are both going down. Wayne shot 174. John can only strike in the fill for 168.
Dennis, you set a rack on 5? I got you.
Davion Swinney on lane 3 picked up a spare in the 10th frame, and if he strikes in the fill ball, I believe it's 152. And he was bowling Robert Hilton, who had 280 pace going, opened in the 8th, struck again in the 9th, just left a split, a 2-8-10 in the 10th frame, just took 2 off of it. So that's going to be a 2-11 game, and I believe that that's going to be your high game for the 3rd game is 2-11. I can't think of another one that was any higher than that. A couple, I thought. And that was about it. Yeah, whacking him over there was going to shoot 260 something. And then he came back and said that, and he shot 198. So we're fixing to get into the last game of the night. Looks like Bobby Hamilton and John Pfister are both going to be on. Looks like Dave Covington is moving his stuff over to 3 and 4. Nope, Bobby's going to be on 3 and 4. Jordan Frazier looks like he's going to be on 3 and 4. And it looks like Robert Hilton is going to be on 7 and 8. Looks like John Rakowski's going to be on 9 and 10. Brandon Rucker looks like he's going to be on 11 and 12. I believe he's going to be staying on 11 and 12. Going to 5 and 6. Beagle going to 5 and 6, I believe. Robert Hilton, I believe I already said this, is going to 7 and 8. Sarah's going to be on 9 and 10. I'm pretty sure Joe's Gardado is going to be on 9 and 10.
I was gonna say, if I just would have probably spared him the 10, because I was on 3 in a row.
All right, 1 and 2 is going to be starting off with Chucky Rucker against a blind. Nick Larson on 3 and 4 against John Syverson. Davion Swinney and Dustin Valentine on 5 and 6. Robert Hilton and Joe Barna on 7 and 8. Joe Nasso and Darren Bess on 9 and 10. And looks like Donnie Schwartz Sr. and Ice Martinez, who's not here, on 11 and 12 to start off with. Valentine's going to throw the first ball of this last game of the night. Good looking shot. Throws a messenger. You got Scott Whiteleather and Josh McFalls on 1 and 2 also. Bobby Hamilton and Jordan Frazier on 3 and 4. Jordan Frazier started out with a strike. You got Nuna and Dennis Beagle on 5 and 6. Jake Miller and Donnie Schwartz Jr. on 7 and 8. Daniel Gacera and John Rakowski on 9 and 10 should be a fairly good match, maybe. And Brandon Rucker and Wayne Topolin on 11 and 12. Gacera just crossed over and went to Brooklyn to start the match against John Rakowski. Dennis Beagle leaves a spin to start off against Nuna, Chuck Williams. Then to wrap things up on 1 and 2, you got John Pfister and Ron Richards. Wrapping it up on 3 and 4, you got Tyler Altman, and I believe that's Dave Covington, so that might be a pretty good match. Tyler's struggled so far tonight, but Dave's had some good games and had some struggle spots too. Wrapping it up on 5 and 6, you got Carlos Delgado and Scott Chakosky. 7 and 8, James Kreutz and Ricky Nicholson. 9 and 10 looks like it's going to be Ryan and Joe's got bottom. And Brad Stewart wrapping it up on 11 and 12 against the blind, Brad Zielinski. Blind's on post bowl on Sunday. And then you come in here and on Sunday also at the same time. You can't pre-bowl before tonight, though, so. That was a pretty gnarly little 9-pin or 8-pin there by Joe's Gardado on lane. All the turn shots that I had seen over here in the last few months. is it Dennis and John? Oh, Brad Dennis. Updated standings after 3 games. Your new league leader as far as points go, John Syverson's 3-0 with a 185 average. And the only other guy that's undefeated so far tonight is Chucky Ruckers, 3-0 with a 171 average. Third place is Robert Hilton, 2 wins and a tie, averaging 197. And then Bobby Hamilton, who tied with in the second game, has also got 2 wins and a tie. He's averaging 175. That's in 4th place. Dennis Beagle is your high average of the league, but he's 2-1. He's in 5th place with a 211 average. And then Brad Stewart's right behind him, also a 201 with a 203 average. 7th place is Joe's Gargado, 2-1 with a 193 average. Right behind him, John Rakowski, 2-1 with a 192 average. 9th place, Daniel Gacera, 2-1 with a 191 average. And rounding out the top 10 is Nuna Chuck Williams, 2-1 with a 190 average. I should probably throw in old Wackenham because he's tied with Nuna, 2-1 and a 190 average. So that rounds out your top 11 basically. 13th place is Nick Larson. 18th place is Tyler Altman. They were both 2-1 also. Tyler Altman is your last 2-1 player. Everybody else is either 1 and 2, or there's a handful of 0 and 3s down here at the bottom. Three of the I believe it's 6 0 and 3s are not here tonight, so they have yet to post on Sunday.
Hey. It's 192.
Thanks, sir. All right, we got a handful of guys that started this game out with at least the first 2. We've got Scott Whiteleather on 1 and 2, started out with the first 2. We've got on 3 and 4 John Syverson, who's on the approach on 4 right now, and Jordan Frazier, who's going to be right behind him. On 5 and 6, you got Davion swinging with the first 2. He's fixing to get up on the approach on lane 5 here in a minute. Scott Tchaikovsky got the first 2. That's going to be nobody else. Nobody else in the ball nine got the first 2. Oh, nope, that's a lie. 7 and 8. Ricky Nicholson's got the first 2. Oh, Davion missed the head pin to the right. John Syverson went 7 spare. He was one of the guys with the first 2. Good shot by Bobby Hamilton there in the 3rd frame on lane 3. Jordan Frazier missed his target a little bit right, and the ball didn't quite hook enough, and we left it 2-4. Luna left a 5 pin on lane 6. Dennis Beagle up on the approach on lane 5. Started off with a spare and a strike. Back to the no thumb purple hammer. That was a big crunching strike. Right? Ricky Nicholson is going to be. Scott Chakosky's up on the approach on 6. Crunch for 3. Ricky Nicholson should take the approach on 8. He had the first 2. John Rakowski's up on the approach on 9 right now. Started off with an open and then a strike. That turns that into a double. Bowling against Daniel Gacera, who started off with a spare and a strike. He's up on the approach on 10 right now. There's 2 guys left with perfect game bids. Scott Chakosky on 5 and 6, and Ricky Nicholson on 7 and 8. Jordan Frazier is about to take the approach on lane 3. Started out this game with a double and a spare, bowling against Bobby Hamilton, who started out strike, spare, strike. I believe that Jordan is throwing an Axiom solid. That ball's out a lot. A lot. Got 10, spare strike, and a gnarly 8-pin to start the game with. So it should be a 3-bagger, but it's not. Scott Whiteleather on lane 2. This game with a double. Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton about to get up on the approach on 4. Started this game with a strike, a spare, and another strike. Who's got a clean game going so far. A double and then 2 spares. That ball's soft there. Dennis turn a double into a 3-bagger. 4 and 6. Nuna getting up there on right now. Tyler came in here tonight and made a concerted effort to not throw urethane, and I don't think.
No.
Yeah, no. I don't know if he accidentally left his urethane balls at home, or if he just doesn't want to throw them tonight, or if he's trying something new. But better bring a purple with him next week. Although he just picked that up. That was nice. Nuna left I believe that's a 4-pin. He's going to pick it up. Ricky Nicholson. Nicholson was one of your one with Scott Chakosky. He's getting up on the approach on lane 5 right now for the 4th frame. Watch a nice game going on lane. Made the spare, and then he got the double. Ricky Nicholson took a 4 off the 6. 4 guys on that pair because they're to Bolin is one of them, and he hasn't strike yet, but he does have a clean game going. Here, Brandon Rucker going, and then Brad Stewart at the bottom. This game with an open and then strike, 2 straight spares, and now he just threw a second strike in a row. And he is supposed to be bowling against Brad Zielinski, but Brad's not here tonight. Let's see. Bobby Hamilton just went 2-8-10. Jordan Frazier getting up on the approach on. Let's see. Miller just got himself a 3-bagger, but that ball went right through the face. Nuna on 6. Gets himself a strike and back on the strike train there in the 5th frame. He's got a clean game going. Started out spare strike, 2 spares in a row. Daniel Gacera on the approach on lane 10 has started this game spare strike, spare against John Rakowski. That ball missed the head pin right. Dennis Beagle up on the approach on lane 5 on a 290 pace through 4 frames. Throwing the no thumb purple hammer. That ball hooked up, went a bit, and left himself a 6-10. Once this game is over, I'm going to give you guys like a quick rundown of what should be the top 10 as far as like the points won goes. I'm not going to take the time to find out what everybody's average is and whatnot, but just remember when we come in here next week, the first game will be a position round game. So like whoever finishes first and second is going to be bowling each other in the first game next week. And it'll be that way every week in the first game. Of course, we're not going to know. There's 2 guys that are 3-0. It's John Syverson and Chucky Rucker, and we're not going to know if Chucky Rucker's going to win or not because one of the guys he's bowling is not here. Same thing with Brad Stewart in 6th place. He's bowling Brad Zielinski, who's not here. Jordan Frazier just got himself back on the strike train with a crossover Brooklyn. looking around for potential big games. The first one I see is on 3 and 4. Nick Larson's on 2-7 pace. That was spare, strike, spare. Now he's got a 3-bagger going into the 7th frame. Dennis Beagle, who's up on the approach on 6 right now, started the game. He's on 268 pace. He started out and then 8 spare. He just got a little lucky to only leave there. So he can strike out now for, I believe, 257. Really about it. John House on 9 and 10. He's about to get up on the approach on 10 right now. Going to be he's starting 9th and 10th frame too. Ball and Daniel, Gacera. Daniel Morales. Daniel's clean through 6 frames. Yeah. Titties and beer? All right, cool. Woo! Skinny jeans, Wayne. Skinny jeans, baby. Brad Stewart getting up on the approach on 11. Told me I needed to watch this one because titties and beer. Yeah, there's some major ball stickage there, baby. All right, getting up on the approach on 4 right now. Jordan Frazier started the game with a double, 3 straight spares, and then a strike again in the 6th, but it was a crossover with Brooklyn, if we remember that one. It's a good looking ball, though. Oh, man, that ball hooked. Wow. That ball crossed over and went Brooklyn 2 and carried, but it looked good off his hand to me, and then all of a sudden it just started to slow down right there. Back on the strike train after starting with the first 3 and then having 2 straight opens. Chucky Rucker, your number 2 seed going into this game, struggling badly, but you're never going to know whether or not he's going to win until probably next Monday when we show up here because his guy's not here tonight. Your number 1 seed for the night, where did he go? That's him. Fixing to start off on the. He's going to finally probably lose one right here. Bowling against Nick Larson. He's got a 4-bagger going in 70 pace. John started out with the first 2 in a spare, and then it's kind of gone a little bit downhill since then. Struck again in the 4th frame. Split in the 5th, but he picked it up, and then 2 straight opens after that. That match is going down on 3 and 4. Nick Larson going into this game was 13th place at 2 and 1 with a 178 average. Just whack. And this Beagle getting up on the approach on 5 right now. Bowling against Chuck Williams, Nuna. Ooh. What are you doing, whacking him? Really whacking him. Woof. That was a rough shot. That was a good-looking shot. Can't believe it hooked like that. Get up there and finish it out, whacking them. Nick Larson playing the twig, baby. That was rough, Dennis. That was fucking rough, bro. I was back here going, whoa. 11-12, they're finishing up already. Donnie Schwartz, Senior, shot 116. All right, Brandon Novak, Rucker, 1 even against. Well, he's a 10 pin on the first shot of the 10, so potential 180 game there. Joe Nasso has got himself on the strike train with a 4-bagger on 9 and 10, bowling against Darren Bess. Darren's struggling pretty good. Daniel Gacera still clean through 7, but only Johnny Rack double on a 257 pace, 258 really. Stewart did pick up his spare, so if he strikes right here in this fill ball, it's going to be 180. 180, and we won't know if he's going to win or lose for a week. $180 is going to be good for 789 for 4. So it's going to be 197, I believe, average. Daniel kept it clean. Spare. John 4, 6, 7. Like pretty much everybody does. So he can punch out for 223. Daniel can shoot 210, I believe. Robert Hilton struggling big time here in the 4th game on lane 7 and 8. Lanes 3 and 4 are starting to frame here in just a second. Ron Richards on 1 and 2 is bowling pretty well this game. A 3-bagger going into this 8th frame before he left I believe that's a 2-pin. So he converts the 2-pin. If he strikes out, got, I believe, 233. Noonan just threw one down there on 5. Well, that ball didn't quite hook enough. Big John Syverson has definitely already lost this match. Chucky Rucker, I'm not going to know if he's going to win or lose for a week, but He's really struggling here on lanes 1 and 2. I don't think he knows about that bump on lane 1. He can only throw the last 3 for 163. And with a big strike there to give him 4 out of the last 5. Bowling against Dave Covington. It's probably going to beat Dave Covington. I don't think Dave can do anything. I'm not doing the math, but I don't think Dave can do anything. That was a big shot there by Jordan Frazier. John Syverson starting off the 10th frame on lane 3 for those guys. Strikes in the 10th. He can strike out for 171 at the most. So he's already definitely lost the match because Nick can throw 2 in the gutter for 208. Ron Richards up on lane 1 right now, trying to make it 4 out of the last 5 strikes. That ball's going high. Oh, it crossed over and it struck. So he can strike out for 233. Nick Larson getting up on the approach right now on lane 4 in the 10th frame. He can strike out. John Syverson got the second one in the 10th. Joe Barna on lane 7 and 8 getting up on the approach on 7's got a 3-bagger going in the 10th frame. Probably definitely going to beat Robert Hilton now. I will. Thank you. So John Syverson did get the third one in the 10th for 171. Nick Larson just did the second one in the 10th in the gutter. I mean, he's going to win. He's going to shoot 230 doing it, almost 40 doing it, but Chucky Rucker got the first one in the 10th. If he gets all 3 in the 10th, it's 163 on lane 1. Remember, his match is not here right now. 9 and 10, Joe's Gardado beat Darren Best 191 to 136. Nick Larson shot 238, picked up that spare and shot 238. Bobby Hamilton got the first one in the 10th, can get the next two for 200 even. Jordan Frazier spared in the beginning of the 10th and just threw a strike to lock him out. It was another crossover Brooklyn. A shot 201 against Robert Hilton, 170. Chucky Rucker shot 153. Donnie Schwartz Jr. shot 148 to Jake Martin's 211. Jake Miller's 211. And James Kreutz spared in the beginning of the 10th frame. 9 count is going to give him 148 against Ricky Nicholson's got a 4-bagger going into the second ball in the 10th frame. Davion Swinney shot 184 against Dustin Valentine, who can strike to tie him. Dennis Beagle opened in the 9th frame, so he can strike out for 212 here against Nuna. That ball is way, way left of target. And that is a 3.679. Yeah, 3.679. So that's a likely loss for Dennis. Dustin Valentine, 9 count to lose by 1. Dennis Beagle took 3 off of that for 191. Dennis Beagle is going to be the only guy to average over 200 for the night, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Dennis Beagle is going to be your high average guy for the night with a 206 average. But as far as winning percentage goes, as of right now, right up until next Sunday, Chucky Rucker is going to be your league leader at 3-0. And we bowled 4 games, but the last game his guy wasn't here, so we don't know what happened there. If I had to guess, I'd say it's going to be a loss because he only shot 153, but who knows? You never know. And then after that, you're going to have John Syverson as your only guy at 3-1. Average 181 tonight. But yeah, his only guy at 3-1 right now. Could easily stay in second if Chucky ends up winning. Could easily be first if Chucky ends up losing. And then after that, you're going to have Robert Hilton and Bobby Hamilton tied at 2.5 and 1.5 each. You good? Robert Hilton's averaging 191. Bobby Hamilton's averaging 171. And then Dennis Beagle is going to be your top guy at 2-2 with a 206 average. That's pretty much right. It's a good one too. That's pretty much going to do it for tonight's competitive bowling action. Scott Chakosky's throwing just a shot down there. We'll have one more shot to try and convert it, but that's going to do it here tonight. Scratch Match Play All-Stars League. We'll be back again next Monday. I believe practice is going to start at 7 o'clock. And they'll get 10 minutes of practice. And we'll have a position game and then 3 more games of match play. So until next Monday, everybody, we will see you all next Monday. Have a good week.